This is Todd Nunes, and you are watching the Break It Down show.
Come on. This will probably surprise the shit out of you because I know I can't believe it either. I'm well beyond 2,000 episodes here on the Break It Down show.
Wow, congratulations.
Isn't
That's
that
huge.
crazy? It is
That's
huge.
quite a catalog.
I think you'll appreciate this. So, because of my ridiculous show, and that's the only way I can say this, like it's so crazy. I get to do all of these wonderful things, and so someone's like, "How do you monetize?" I'm like, "Look, I don't know. Money kind of comes in. It's not worth it for the money, but the amount of freedom I have, the amount of incredible things, the incredible people I get to meet, there is so much wealth in running a show like I have. I mean, I know you, I know Hilliard, I know so many, I know thousands of people now. And when we think about the movie industry and entertainment, we can think of probably 100 people who are currently anything. Probably think of a lot of dead people too, but it, that universe is packed full of amazing people that you likely have never heard of. And so, like, no one's ever heard of the Break It Down show, but it brings me all of this joy, and I get to work for myself, and I have freedom, and that freedom is expensive to buy back from me, right? And so, it's
Absolutely.
interesting. We both have built our own worlds. It takes a long time, but I wouldn't trade a thing. Like we're still getting bigger here. We're still doing bigger things, and you have done something remarkable in just I was saying the other day to a fellow Benicia who's a creator, and she was complaining, like, she's like, I went to Hollywood and I tried to break down doors. I'm like, let's just build you a door and open it,
Yeah,
you know? And that's
yeah,
what you've done.
yeah. When you come from no connections and you
Hmm.
come into to L.A., Hollywood, all the doors are closed.
Hmm.
They don't even open to tell you to get out of there.
Yeah.
And that was one of my things. It's like if I could just get somebody to read my script, even if they said, no, thank you,
Right. Yeah.
just something.
Yeah. 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 Can
I
I
can
exist?
definitely
Yeah.
see it, being. It's a difficult place to live for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. When did you realize? I mean, look, as long as I've known you, we've talked about these things, these projects, but at some point you go, oh, this actually is going to work out for me. I get to, because there's a lot of scenarios where Todd becomes a writer or he becomes a set designer or something else because it doesn't work out to get where
Mhm.
you're at. When did you realize, oh, I'm going to get to do this?
Actually, it was later.
Okay.
Well, first you go through stages, right? You come here to
Mhm.
LA. I'm like, I have everything. I know what I want. I know I'm going to be able to fit in. I'm not afraid. I want this. And then, you have nothing but a blank wall in front of you. And you're trying to just climb it and you're trying to get over it and you just can't do it. It's
Yeah.
impossible. And then you have little things happen that give you hope and you keep going. And then you sort of go through, maybe it's a depression, maybe whatever it is, it's a reevaluation, right? And then that's when it came to like party in LA, friends, just try to do everything I can not to think about the fact that I can't do what I want and what I love. And then the choice, it becomes a choice. It's either all or nothing. So,
Boy, you've
then
heard
that's
that.
when the partying stopped. All that, went away. And it was like, this is what I'm going to do. And it doesn't matter where the walls are. I'm going to climb over them. And I reevaluated it. I went back to film school. I sort of gave myself a fresh start. And with a
Mhm.
new knowledge that this was going to be hard. And going into
Mhm.
film school and being around all these students who had the sort of same idea I did when I first came there, I'm like, boy, you guys are going to be in for a big surprise. So I came at it a whole different angle. And then that's what happened. And then things started moving and shifting. And I started meeting people. And Stephen Redmond, the great producer, Stephen Redmond, saw what I had been wanting, somebody just to see that I had what it took.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
and meeting him and then meeting other people and then suddenly starting to get jobs. And then suddenly I was working on just last year, reality competition show, which is one of my guilty pleasures. So, and then now, and today I got some great news today, so it like things started happening maybe a little bit later than I wanted them to, But when I look back on everything, I still had a good time.
Yeah. John's here too, by the way, everybody.
Hey,
John.
John.
Hey, Todd. Yeah, man, that's a great story. And I think what everybody should pick up on there is that, uh, as we hear over and over again, there are those who fail and there are those who persevere. And, like you said, it happened a little later than you'd wanted, but the reality was that you were not going to let yourself be denied.
Yeah.
And, later just means riper and sweeter, I
Yeah. And
hope.
the way I look at it is like, this is my now. This is where I
Mhm.
am now. I can't sit there and go back to and be like, oh, I wish it happened when I was 23 and cute and young and all these other things that Hollywood loves so much. But this is my now. So everything that's happening now is just as important to me at this moment as it was when I first moved here.
Nice.
23-year-old version of you doesn't know what this one does. Did
No.
that one know enough? Or could he be told that he didn't know enough? Also, it's another great question.
No, it's a great question, and probably not. No.
Yeah.
Um, I had people say, all the, have a backup
Yeah.
and all the normal things that you would say to somebody, but it was like, well, that's not going to be me. Someone's going to
Right.
see what I can do, right? Somebody. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
no, it was not easy.
Yeah. Yeah. John?
Yeah, have a backup. Uh Man, that works out great for a lot of people. And I'm glad that, people are able to put food on the table, all that stuff. Eddie Murphy very famously said, backup, there's no backup. This is what's happening. And of course, it happened to him very young,
Yeah.
and he was very sure of himself too. So it's easy to say, well, look at Eddie Murphy. But uh again, the perseverance story. Sometimes you get people who need a backup plan, and they have a backup plan, so they fall back.
Yeah, and that's the danger of that. This is also like Sylvester Stallone's experience and a lot of other actors, Brad Pitt, people who it just happened for just like that. But that's very rare in the bigger scheme of things. If you're looking at the number of people that come into LA and it rotates constantly a year, the success those types of success stories are very rare.
Yeah.
It's not
If you want to
normal.
see, yeah. I
But
was
when
going to
I
say, if you,
talk to people, and I've got a cousin who's interested in doing all of this, I do bring up the backup plan. I,
yeah.
I do bring those things up because it's part of being responsible. I have to let them know my experience, and and just in case, yeah, sure, having a backup plan is a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But
crazy
I mean,
how
it depends
hard.
on the person.
Of course, yeah. Well, and Eddie, we use Eddie Murphy as an example. What this is isn't what that was. He's a different
Yeah,
this now.
yeah,
He's a voice actor. Like that's the main thing he is, right? He's not a comedian anymore. He's not
yeah,
a leading man in a 90-minute movie with Nick Nolte anymore. He's a different dude. So
yeah,
this has changed over time. The other thing about all of this is when you are trying to figure this out, it's really hard. And if you need evidence of that, show 23-year-old Todd the credits from any movie from 1993 and have him today tell me how many of those actors are still relevant, you know?
yeah,
And it's going to be two,
yeah,
that's it. If two, maybe Colin Firth is there and you're like, oh, he still
yeah,
makes movies, right?
yeah. Yeah, it's a whole
Rest,
different time right now, and it's different rules. But one of the things that's the same is that it's hard to break into.
mhm, yeah,
That doesn't
It's
change.
interesting that you say that. Now that media has been democratized, I think I don't mean to put words in your mouth. I'm going to give you something to expand on, though. When you say it's hard to break into, it seems like there are fewer and fewer gatekeepers, because of the democratization of media. But the reality is, as you say, it's still hard to break into. So what has changed about it being hard to break into when you can simply point a laptop at yourself, like the two jokers you're partying with today, and have a platform?
Well, one of the things, and it's interesting because I always say, like, wow, if I had been born, like, 10 years later, all this YouTube and these content and making your own content and people making a lot of money at it. Um, I mean, I would be doing that. I know I would be doing that. I would have been doing it, in high school if this had been available to me, and my life it would be a different life right now. But I would have thrown myself into it, and that would have been my thing. Um, but it's still different. It's still, like a lot of that goes to like this young crowd. It's there that become real popular and famous on YouTube. So it's something you definitely probably have to start when you're young. But it's
Yeah.
also challenging. I hear a lot of kids saying they want to be YouTubers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of them give it a
Yeah.
try, but it's also a very special person that can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not for
Yeah. Because
everybody.
and that machine has robot gatekeepers. Like this show here, it'll go on YouTube. It's on YouTube right now, but they change the rules on what gets pushed forward, and they step on my air. Not me, everybody's air hose all the time. And
Yeah,
so you have to constantly try to, and it's really like magic. You're like, okay, here's what I think they've done, and then you test, and you have no idea, right? And so like
yeah.
there's new barriers that are there. But you're right. And by the way, we did do that stuff. And if at my best, we would have done this face to face. It didn't work out schedule wise. And I was going to show you my old VHS tape. And we did this. I don't know how much you remember these, but we did make movies. We just didn't have a platform to
Yeah,
put it on, right? We just
exactly.
giggled as we look at on the TV on our that's off the
Yeah, well,
camera.
my thing was I'm gonna put this on the Benicia station, the Benicia channel. I mean,
Yeah,
we literally were doing stuff to put on the Benicia channel. As
yeah, yeah,
that was the
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Viewership of the person who was putting the video up. One.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. What are you
But at
working
least
on,
it
man?
was a local audience.
yeah,
Yeah, you knew the demo. Who's your avatar? It's me.
yeah. Right.
What are you working on?
Right now I'm working on a bunch of different things. I'm getting ready for another convention. Monster Palooza is going to be coming up. I'll be there. I'll be signing books. So if any of you are in the LA area, it's going to be in the Pasadena Convention Center. We sell a lot of different things, a lot of different merchandise from the products. We have the Slasher Universe. It's one of the steps, one of the reasons why um, I've done low budget movies, and I've done that, but and I know a lot of people who keep doing that and they keep doing that, but I am adamant. Maybe it's my age now, maybe it's just the difference, but I'm adamant that it's all about it has to be climbing upward. Like I did a big jump from one movie to the next movie, and this one has to be a big jump. It has to be
Mhm.
something substantial. Otherwise, I'll just be at that level for the rest of my career. And
Yeah.
so the slasher universe is there's a lot of people involved with it, a lot of people working behind the scenes, and we are now at a point. We're at a very good point. I got very good news today, so
Mm.
I'm really optimistic about this year. We did all the legwork. We've got the books out. There's going to be a game coming out with Catholic schoolgirls versus inbreeds. We built up a name at the conventions. A lot of momentum to get investors interested in the project, because that's what it really comes down to. You get them interested in the project and they see that you have something like Catholic schoolgirls versus inbreeds has won 10 screenwriting awards. I've got I've got trophies for it and certificates, and it's been great because those are I back in the day I like I said I would have loved for someone just to tell me no thank you. I couldn't get anybody to read it, couldn't get any awards or anything like that, and now all of a sudden this screenplay has 10 awards, and it just feels like everything is going in the right direction
Mm.
with this project. And today was great news I don't want to get into that right now, but it's really good, and we'll probably be filming this year for sure. And it's been a big accomplishment. We've been working on this for like the last 7 to 8 years.
Oh
Like
wow.
this is a big project, and everybody is very gung ho on it, and it's wonderful to have this team of people working while I get to sit here and talk with you.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah,
I love that news. It tickles me when you do well because it's not that you couldn't do it. It's just all so and you get this. It's all so impossible.
hmm
Like just every movie shouldn't have happened. Every TV series,
absolutely. Yeah,
forget about it. We were talking the other day about Ford versus Ferrari, and Jason Keller, who wrote the script, had to work on it for 10 years before
yeah,
anybody was going to make it. And they're like, by the way, you're going to share writing credit with the Butterworths because you have to,
yeah.
and that's what it takes to get made. And if anybody, like if Matt Damon had broken his arm playing basketball, maybe the thing never gets made. Like it's just
Yeah.
all these things have to line up, and everybody has to be ready and the right ready. And it's so to get to where you're at, man. I want to jump over a building. I'm so excited for you.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a lot of hard work, and it hasn't been just me. There, like I said,
Of course,
there's
yeah.
been a team involved in this, which is also very, very different from when I first came here, where it was just me. Um, and now I've got people who really believe in this project and who are working really, really hard, and it's really exciting. And we know there's going to be all kinds of challenges the ahead, but like you said, making a movie is always full of challenges. It doesn't matter. I mean, I made a movie next to nothing. There was lots of challenges when you're dealing
Mhm.
with very little money. So
Yeah.
hopefully those types of challenges we won't have this time.
Dealing with money, it's always about the money. Here's the other thing that I think a lot of people don't realize when they're unaware of the mountain of unmade movies that exist out there and how stacked the odds are against you. Paramount, the behemoth that is Paramount Pictures, makes 12 movies a year.
Yeah, that
12
puts
of
it
them.
into perspective, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
And it's something like
competition.
95% of indie movies don't make money.
Yeah.
That's these are the odds, right?
Yeah, and
Yep.
I mean, I have to say, I mean, I'm so incredibly grateful. Like none of us expected All Through the House to last as long as it to have the shelf life that it did. So that's why we went into it just going crazy, just making it crazy. Just we don't have the money, so just go out there, make it fun, make it sexy, make it do things that people are going to talk about, make it
Yeah.
controversial,
Yeah.
put things in there that people just aren't going to like. So they talk about it. And all of that really worked out because All Through the House for the last 10 years is still making money. So I was very,
Amazing.
very grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrific. That is awesome.
I'm
Uh
trying to get these. Okay.
yeah, when we talk about your perseverance and your ability to continue on, I mean, the fact that you've created a property that is a fountain that you can keep going back to, that's a huge part of it. And I know that that was conscious but unconscious. I mean, you say that it surprises you, but typically a successful holiday movie will continue to have returns for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing about a holiday movie is that you have a season that keeps coming back, but it still has to be good. And one of the mistakes that I think that a lot of people make, and by a lot of people, I know I also have made this mistake, is that you make a movie that you think people will want to see, and then you start listening to the business when it tells you that, in order to make for instance, in order to make a, movie that's going to return year after year, it's a good idea to make a holiday movie. Okay, great. That's good advice. But then they start telling you things like, well, this movie's not going to play in Germany because of this or that. So you could make these changes and you have a better chance at a wider European audience. And then you could make these changes and the Asian market will open up to you a little bit. They like the supernatural thrillers. They're not so into the Christmas stuff. Whatever the things are, you get a lot of input from a lot of people.
Yeah.
You just said you went for it and you made it all the things that you knew you wanted it to be based on what you wanted. And that's what we depend on from our creatives. And that's why we love the filmmakers we love, whoever it is you love out there. We love Todd. If you love a particular filmmaker, it's because they make movies the way they want to make movies. And
Mhm.
usually that means that they're purposefully getting advice and ignoring it because that's not how they want to make the movie. And that's what you did with all throughout the house.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm also really tuned into the horror community, like what the trends are, where it's all leading. It's very important to me to keep up on that. And
Yeah.
I knew that the holiday horror movie, it was holiday horror movies were there, but they weren't. There wasn't a big splash of it, and I knew it was coming, and so I really wanted to be on the forefront of that. And it
Mhm.
and it really turned out to be true because there are so many Christmas horror movies that are done now every single year,
Yeah.
where there was really like a dry spell before we came onto the scene, and it really helped being at the top of that. So we're always sort of at the top of the conversation when it comes to Christmas horror movies.
Ha, ha, ha. Is there can you think of particular advantages though, besides the one that you just mentioned that make it that make all through the house special within the because you are in touch with the horror community. You're dyed in the wool. Um, what do you think people are responding to that is your voice as a filmmaker that was, specifically in that picture?
Oh, well, I think one thing is that I certainly did not play it safe when it came to All Through the House. It is
That's so good.
bonkers. It is crazy. It goes out there. It's got twists. You're not, when somebody says you got to see this movie with Santa with a bag of dicks, it's like that's you've never heard that before, right?
Right.
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 That sentence is bananas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it's a whole new concept, and people are like, "What? I gotta see that." That whoever did that movie, they're
Uh-huh.
not gonna play it safe. So at least if anything that you get out of it, you get entertained, even if you don't particularly like it.
Uh-huh.
This is one of the things that you accrue through your experience. You know how to make a movie. You know what to do. You do have a sense. And if young you didn't know it, this you for sure knows exactly what needs to be done. And you knew it when you were a kid. I mean, you knew what needed to be. You didn't know all the things you needed to know, but you knew that. So when you put a movie like that together, that I mean, for you, obviously it makes money, but it's also your proof of concept. Hey, Todd's bankable. Look what he did. He came up with this idea. This is Santa Claus with bag of dicks. It's a holiday horror movie. All that
Even
shit,
you
right?
saying that sounds
Right.
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, he knew to pull that off, and I get it, right? When the guy says I get it, and he has that money side of the production access, that's hard won. And you had to make a damn whole movie, but you must have picked up a lot of heat, good heat from that movie once you made it because you proved, hey, this will work. I know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, it was controversial. We have our diehard fans, people who dress up as the characters and collect all the merchandise and signatures and stuff like that. And then we have other people who are just like appalled. They're just like, "What did you do? How could you do that?" And that is a good mix.
Mm,
It's a
Yeah.
very good mix
yeah,
because
to be
I'm like,
appalled.
fine, as long as you're talking about it. Because when
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
people stop talking about it, that's the worst thing. But I want to be in the conversation regardless.
yeah.
Yeah. Santa Claus and a bag of dicks. What did you just say?
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
I mean, you also did some classically smart things that, the textbook things that are it's it's not that you weren't thoughtful about how you produced and released this picture. I mean, it came out on Halloween
Mhm.
just slightly over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you've got a movie that now has given you 10 years of returns. And if you happen to like Santa Claus and treasure that somehow he's got a bag of dicks, you're gonna keep getting, it's the movie that keeps giving.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so tell us about Great Ghosts.
The Great Ghost Challenge. That was quite an experience. I was contacted because I have one of my guilty pleasures is reality competition shows. Not all of them, but the main ones, and I'm really into them, like Survivor and Big Brother, uh, shows like that.
Mhm.
And it was brought on because of everything that I know about those shows,
Mm.
and was asked about what I thought a reality show would look like in a ghost town. And so automatically I'm thinking like, Survivor in a ghost town. And then of course one of my old favorites was Fear Factor. I love that show.
Mhm.
Even thought about going on that show. Like I just was
Mm.
Hmm.
really love that show. So Survivor plus Fear Factor in a ghost town. And that sort of became the concept that I got the approval for and started the outline with Lori Kaufman um, in developing that show. And so that was the
That
first part. And I thought that was going to be it. I thought I was only going to be directing the show. And then suddenly I'm being whisked off in a helicopter to the location. And I was
Yes.
going to be on set and working behind the scenes for that entire runtime in a ghost town. That's where I lived.
that's great. Did you have an outfit for special like purpose? Like I'm gonna ghost town. I'm gonna wear some chaps or something like that.
No, no, I
Did you?
didn't. No, no, no. Just
Pete
it
is
was
always
cold.
looking for an excuse to wear some chaps. That's what we
Yeah,
know.
Yeah,
yeah.
man. I got them. I just don't got a horse or nothing or a western town. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
that's awesome.
just to be warm because it was very
Yeah,
cold.
yeah, right. Just to be more. So when you get this responsibility, uh, I mean, did you have to along the way like pinch yourself, remind yourself, like Todd, or I mean, John and I are talking about this movie studio that we're going to build here in Benicia. I have to keep reminding myself, like, this is ridiculous.
It
I mean,
is.
obviously, like, we're not taking on things that we don't know how to do, but we have to take on things you don't know how to do the things that are impossible. And so we know what we're doing, but yeah, we also can say, we don't know what we're doing, but we're also comfortable with that because look where we are now. How did we get here? Well,
Yeah.
by doing shit. So you must have been just going, I cannot believe. I mean, it's totally like in the rearview mirror, you're like, it all makes sense. But it must just be just amazing for you in that moment when you're making this thing.
Oh, it's so much fun. And even the thinking about like the challenges and how the contestants are going to deal with twists and turns uh and then actually seeing it happen, actually seeing it
Yeah.
play out, actually start rooting for certain contestants while you're filming, hoping
Yeah.
that they'll do good because it'll be good for the show. And so I knew once I became so invested in the actual contestants while we were actually filming that the everything had come together.
Yeah. That's a great point. That rooting aspect. I mean, you're not worried about the show. You're worried about Todd, the guy from Akron or whatever
Yeah.
it is. Like
Mhm.
that's a full buy-in. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I'm going to derail us just for a second because I have two interesting things to say about what you just brought up. One is Survivor. I have a training partner at the gym whose daughter, Savannah Louie, just won Survivor. So we want to
Oh
No
shout out
shit.
wow. Yes,
Savannah
yes. I
Louie.
love
Yeah.
her. I was
Yeah.
so rooting for her. She was
She's
my number
fantastic.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, her dad lives in Walnut Creek.
All right.
And yeah,
She'll be on
we
Survivor
trained together.
50.
Oh, she
We
will?
Savannah will be on Survivor 50. Yeah, she's coming back for the 50th season. So I think she only had like a week to rest or something like that.
Oh man.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a powerhouse.
Yes,
So
she
is her
is.
dad. We trained together this morning, in fact. Um, the other thing is I have a fear factor story that I think is going to be inspiring for some people. And I may have told you this already, Todd, but I was on a film lot. Um, Film Ranch, actually. It was Tejon Ranch, and we were shooting something there, and we were sort of next door neighbors with Fear Factor, and they were shooting something on the lake, the adjacent lake. So, um, when we were done, we sort of, our crews kind of intermingled. A couple people knew each other, and I found myself talking to some stuntmen who were the guys in charge of testing the riggings, because before they put a contestant on a zip line, a stuntman's got to harness up and ride down the zip line, and everything that they do, the stuntmen had to test and do first and rig up and all that. So they were doing that. But in this crew of stuntmen who are clearly a team and they were enjoying themselves, and they worked together, there was one guy who was a lot older than everybody else. So I uh, got sucked in when this guy was holding court, and he was hilarious. So when I had to ask him, I know what these young guys are doing. What are you doing? And he said, "Oh yeah, I'm a mostly retired stuntman. I've done, and he had film credits that went back to the Dirty Dozen, and he had been around a long time." And I said, "But what are you doing here?" And he said, "Well, my job on Fear Factor is to eat everything that we're going to ask somebody to eat.
Wow.
So the milkshake made out of goat eyeballs, and the everything else, worms, and the everything that somebody on that show had eaten, this guy had eaten first."
Wow.
And when we
That's
were
tough.
there doing that, yeah, he had been there since the beginning of the show, and they had been at it a while. So this guy had eaten just who knows how many ungodly things.
Yeah.
Is
And
what guild is that? Is he a stuntman for this? Is he an
yeah, he's a
actor?
stuntman. He's a
Okay. Like,
stuntman. So he's the guy who has to test something before the
yeah,
insurance company will say, okay, we'll let normal people who have signed
right,
up for the show and
right.
signed all the waivers do it. But I said, is there like how many things have there been where you uh just couldn't pass it on? Like, no, you can't let people eat this. I've eaten this and you can't let people eat this. And he said, oh, it happens all the time.
Wow.
So that was this guy's lot later in life, having been a mostly retired stuntman whose body was, no longer in the game. The part of his body that was still in the game was this digestive tract, and he was going all the way to the wall. I don't know where that guy is now. I can't even remember his name, so I can't look him up. But that guy had a tremendous job, and I'll challenge our viewers, if you want to go look him up, and then shoot us a
Yeah, yeah,
message so we can find the guy. That'd be great.
Yeah. Hope he got paid well.
I
yeah,
hope so too. Man, I
yeah.
hope
At
so.
least double scale. I mean, that's a pretty risky job.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. We had some eating
crazy.
challenges, and they're pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
Uh, can you tell us
So how
about
does?
them? Is it
Yeah, I did. Yeah, the design
The
part.
eating
What's going
challenges
on?
that we did were based on the area that we were in. We filmed in Calico, and there were a lot of immigrants back in the day that came over. There were a lot of Chinese immigrants that came over, and they ate certain things back then that were affordable, but not necessarily nice to eat. So we had a lot of pig's ears and bird spit soup and and rotten eggs, and there was just a whole plethora of stuff, and none of it was easy to get through.
Mm.
Oh,
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
bird spit soup. I had no idea that even existed, but it is a thing.
Where does that idea come from? You're in like the writer's room or something, and somebody's like, "Why don't we do?" I mean, who's cooking these things up?
Well, the whole concept, I don't know if it was a part of the assignment or if it just made sense that the challenges and no, it was an assignment. We were assigned to the history because I had to do a lot of
Mm,
history uh, reading and finding out what went on there. And we based a lot of our challenges around that. So the host would sort of tell the stories, these horrible stories of how people accidentally were murdered or killed or died or accidents and things that happened around the town. He would tell the sort of story, and then that challenge would be centered around that story. And just like the feast.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you about your writing. You got all these books, and I've been putting links up for everybody. /universe.com. Here is the Duke, one of them. There's all kinds of great titles and everything. I didn't realize that you had gotten into the writing aspect. I mean, obviously you write because you write screenplays and everything, but
Yeah.
you're also writing books in addition to it. How was that born, and where's that headed?
Well, part of it is all a part of a strategic plan for money. Like I said, we could get money to do the movies, but we want
Mhm.
money to do the
Right.
movies. We want to do
Yeah.
it the right way. We want the step to go up, and it's one of the reasons why there are so many people working uh, so hard on this project. So it was about winning awards. It was a pot of stuff. Like you go to
Mhm.
somebody who's got a lot of money, right? You can only go to them once. That's it. You know, you go to them once, and then then you've just that connection is now gone. So before
Mhm.
you go to these people who have the money, you need to go to them with something, not just a please read my script and tell and give me millions of dollars to make it. But if you go to someone and you have a successful line of books, you have a game, you have awards, you have all these things that you're going to them, then you have more than that guy behind you or the guy in front of you. So the books
I
were
got
sort
you.
of came from that idea. I was writing books when I was in high school, short stories and novels, things like that. So and I read all the time. So it was sort of a natural, it was fun. It was fun. It was, work. It was hard, but
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. And the books are getting a great response. So we know that the movies will get a great response too.
John?
Yeah, that sounds like that was you just being prepared for success, whichever direction it came at you. So when you say you go to like you go to the well and you ask the people for money, and the more that you have going on and the more that you have that is successful and visible and, an artistic product that is tangible, um, because when you go to somebody and you say, hey, give me millions of dollars to make this movie, I've made this movie, or I've never made a movie, but I have this great screenplay that I wrote, and I know that it will make a great movie. The further into as many processes as you can be in, the more viable it makes it look. Does that mean that if I were to put together a project and I had Todd Nunes committed to be at the helm of the project, that it would be less expensive to get a completion bond for you? Or what do you know about that specific thing? And does that help?
It will help once I get my movies out.
Yeah.
My slasher universe movies for sure. Then that would help more than probably right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Authoring
Yeah.
books is that's a solitary existence, and directing films is a very social existence.
Yes.
What do you prefer?
Um, well, it's interesting because I look at it as a part of the whole thing. When I'm writing the book, and this was something that dawned on me as I was going through it and doing backstories, was that I really this is how I'm going to direct the movie. So if you read Catholic Schoolgirls or Death War 13 or The Duke and the feeling that you get and where the story takes you and the pacing, like that's how I'm going to direct the movie. That's all my director notes. If I were to talk to an actor about their character, it's all in there.
Yeah.
So I was able to call upon all of that to make the books.
When I think you come across, everybody's got an idea for a movie. This is what I want to say. Everybody has an idea for a movie. What is the distance between the best idea of the year and that certified number that scrolls up at the end of the movie when it's all done? Like what how long is that distance between just that concept and then actually making a fucking movie?
Well, it all depends on who you are.
Yeah.
It depends on what your connections are. Like, is this something, are you being hired to do it, or is this something that
Hmm.
you are just thinking you want to make a movie? Um, there's a lot of different variables, a lot of different ways to go. Of course, everybody. I remember when I went to film school, and this kid came in, and he's just like, what I want to do is I want to do summer blockbusters, and I'm like, good luck with that.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
only
But
want to
hey,
make hit records.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, all right, you want to make summer blockbusters. Um, so it just depends on the direction you go. You go, like, a lot of
Right.
people want to go straight there, and of course I get it. That's great. That's fun,
Wasn't
but
everybody?
I would not suggest that.
Right.
Holding out for that. Like, if that
Yeah.
happens, great, but you got to start somewhere. Start with a short film.
Yeah. And even that, you've jumped ahead from idea to even just a short film. I mean, just like the idea, getting that turned into something that works, that can be made. And you can make a 10-minute film for essentially hard work, right? I mean, you can just go out and do it. You got a phone, you can shoot it on that. And that's certainly happened before.
Oh
But
my
even that
gosh, it's
generation of the idea.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I was doing my movies in Benicia, in fact, when I was home, I was driving through uh, the industrial park, and I was past an area that I just remembered me and all my high school friends out there filming. It was really nice. But
Yeah.
we had to, like, if we wanted music, we had to film the TV set with the VCR and play music along with it in
Yeah.
order to get sound effects. So it was
Yeah.
a big
Wow.
difference than it is now. Like, yeah, we would have been filming on our iPhones and editing and putting music in,
Yeah.
and had a great advantage. I always say, if 10 years, I was just born 10 years late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
The
and
thing
like
is, when
the
you have a great advantage, it's only a great advantage if everybody else also doesn't have it.
Yeah.
So, you're talking about a playing field that's different, and everybody else has it. Oh man, I could get this music. Guess what? Everybody else can get that music.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
where did you go to film school, Todd?
At the Los Angeles Film School.
Ah, well, that's
I
a good
took
place to do
a
it.
special screenwriting uh, a course at UCLA first,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then I went into Los Angeles Film School, which was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
when
It's
you
terrific.
when you meet people in the industry, and this is like the barrier thing, right? So the amount of work that people put into their craft and have oftentimes no success, right? Or they go work somewhere in the institution of filmmaking or TV making or TV show making. It's impossibly impressive. I mean, MFAs are nothing in Hollywood. They're everywhere. I mean, they just you'll meet a guy like, oh, I'm an MFA. What? But you're not doing anything. And they're like, oh, I'm doing everything. Because everybody in there in that town is slash. So I'm a security guard slash whatever slash with a residency at this, little playhouse. And you're like, oh my God. It's an amazing thing. But the barrier to entry for education, it's significant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for some people, they don't need it. It just
Right.
happens. They start. They have a connection. They're able to get in at a lower level and then and learn in that way, which is fine, which is great. But also, a film school is just a nice sort of kickoff point. It's just a nice
Mhm.
way of knowing, being able to get questions answered and start off from something, where you've gained all this knowledge and some experience, rather than, again, trying to get into some place with not ever having gone to film school unless you have a
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You learn the vocabulary, you learn a little something about the process. Hopefully, you get some kind of experience in some corner of that process so you can have a little bit of track record and maybe meet somebody who can introduce you to somebody else. It is really a difficult business. And if you get I mean, I have a friend up here. His name is Palmer Emmett, and he graduated with an MFA in film from NYU, which, hey, that's good. An MFA in film from NYU or USC, or that's as good as it gets to launch yourself in the industry, and he had a great job that he worked at. He worked for Disney for 6 or 7 years and made no movies.
Yeah.
And the flip side of that experience is you running around with a camera making these slashes and, just like you said, going for it and making something that is uniquely yours without any regard for, well, I don't have enough money to do. Nope, let's go. Let's make it. And let's make it as crazy as possible, as sexy as possible, as Todd Nunes as possible. And it's a different way in than he went. He's in a different line of work now, but some people make it in the more traditional ways, and some people run and gun like you did, and force their way in. Kicking a window in as opposed to having the front door opened for them.
Yeah, and I've actually realized over the years that this is what I actually prefer. This is
Uh,
what I would rather do, because like I could try to sell the script. It's got 10 awards.
yeah,
There's not an agency that wouldn't at least read the script now with 10 awards behind it. And so I could try to sell it, and I could sell it, and it could sit on a shelf and never get made, and I would have nothing else to do with it. But here, I'm in a position where I'm not just going to be the writer and the director, but I'm also a producer. I am, head of the creative department. And so that, for me, having that much more control over the project makes it that much more rewarding.
yeah, and you can see the vision through all the way to the goal line.
Yes, yes.
Well, you're looking
August
at, go
Coppola
ahead.
was the dean of the San Francisco State Film School, and I don't think he was there for too long. It was several years, but it was only a few years. But he would famously show up on the first day, and he would gather everybody, all the the incoming class of film students, and the first words out of his mouth were, "It is not too late to get out of here and become a dentist or a any number of things that are going to help you get your parents' money back."
Mhm.
Hmm.
And that was the thing. And he would work as hard as he could that first hour to talk as many people out of being in that room as he could. And then if you said, you know what, he's right, this is crazy, I have no business being here, I'm going to go be an accountant, and I know I have a great life and have some security. And then they get up and they walk out, and he goes, all right, well, here we are, fellow artists. Now it's just us. And
Yeah, I had a class of 100 plus students, and there's only myself and another student who are actually being able to live.
that's it, the two of you.
Yeah, without having to have, some other
Be a
type of
waiter or
job or get married and have kids, or yeah, as far as I know, there's only two of us,
Mm,
me and another person.
wow.
yeah.
So it's yeah.
And were you the oldest dude in your class?
I wasn't. I wasn't. So that was nice.
Yeah. But no, it's a fair question because you have a lot of young folks, right? And so you're bringing
Yeah,
a
there were
certain
some. I mean,
level
I
of,
had friends
yeah,
who just got out of high school,
right, right.
and
Yeah.
but I still have friends from that experience today that I'm very, very good friends with.
I know we've been talking a lot about looking forward. We just had Raul Vega from Benicia, Grammy awardee, works with Hans Zimmer. And he was like, Hans kind of reached back and like opened the door for me a little bit because he'd worked there for 7 or 8 years first.
Yeah.
And so you must be looking at how do you help that next Todd out? Like, what do you do to try to mentor other filmmakers?
Yeah, it's just about being honest, and I do talk to a lot um, of younger, and people who are inspired and want to come to Hollywood and want different uh, jobs and careers. But I am just honest about it. It's possible. It is certainly possible, but it's probably not possible without a tremendous amount of work if you have no connections.
Mm.
Mm.
So and I don't know. And so one of the reasons why I tell people to always have a backup is because I think that you mentioned it, John, that they will either be like, yeah, I need a backup, and that says something, or they say, no, there's no backup for me. This is what I have to do. But I'm going to tell you to have a backup just to cover my tracks.
And to
I
separate the
love it.
wheat from the chaff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But not
Yeah.
not but not just that. Really to honorably tell somebody some good advice so they don't starve to death.
If you had told
Yeah,
me,
exactly. And people are like, I want to be a starving artist. And and I'm like, look, that is so romanticized. There is
yeah,
nothing fun about being a starving artist because you're not doing your art when you're starving. You're trying to find food. So
yeah,
that it's
Wow.
certainly not
There's
as
the
fun as
profound
people.
statement of this episode right there.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then the next level, we heard this early on in the show. Sly Stone said to us, "If my music's not good enough, I don't deserve to eat." That's the motherfucker you're trying to beat. And he's like, "I
Yeah.
don't get to eat. I have to make better music." And if you think that because I was going to ask you about hard work, like everybody, if you would ask me when I was 20, like, all you got to do is hard work, I would have no idea what that meant.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure. Hard work. Sure.
man,
Hard
I'll
work.
work
Yeah.
hard, sure. I'm tired.
Yeah. I graduated high school. I know all about hard work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was that summer
What?
that I threw newspapers.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was hard
What is
work.
what is hard work though? Like, describe what the hard work looks like when you really like
Look,
everything's on the line and you. Yeah.
hard work comes down to rejection.
Okay.
Okay. That's where all the hard work comes into. How you are able to get to the point of getting rejected. How are you able to handle the rejection? That's a learning curve. And I have not mastered it.
Mm.
Rejection
Yeah.
is never good.
I asked you last time you were on the show, because as you advance in your career, you get to get rid of some of the hats because you have to wear all the hats, and you still probably wear
Yes.
too many hats.
Yes. And right now,
What's
that's
the
wonderful that I can just get a call and somebody say that I took care of it.
Yeah. What's the next hat you want to get rid of?
Well, right now I think I'm at a place where I want to be because, like I said, I have a team of people that are doing a lot of hard work, and I am basically in the conversations, but my job is mostly creative, and so that's exactly where I want to be.
Yeah,
And
that's
on.
wonderful. Yeah, and again, how amazing, how unlikely, how impossible, and yet there you are, man. It's so exciting.
Well, thank you. I'm excited, especially today. Um, and I think it's important. I mean, I say I'm excited, but you see me, I'm not jumping up and down. I'm not doing any of that. I've learned that the best way until that movie is completed is that you ride the middle ground. The middle ground is so important because there are so many highs and lows in the process. And the lows can be really low and the highs can be really high, but you don't want to get carried away with it because if you get too excited and then the next phone call I get is not a good phone call, then the drop is even harder. So
Yeah.
it's really important to ride that middle ground, to be optimistic, but to keep yourself, moving forward regardless of the
Yeah.
news.
So you're managing your expectations and your emotions at a level that allows you to take a hit, but also soar towards the sky when it works out.
Yeah, because you're always just going to keep moving forward anyway. So there's no point in stopping just because you got some bad news. That's all just part of it. It's just part of it. It's one of the reasons why when I go into making a movie, I spend so much time on a plan B and a plan C for certain things. If I have a great suspense scene or I've got a fight scene or a kill scene, whatever, I always go back in and I always think about, okay, well, what would I do if I couldn't do this? What would be plan B be and plan C be? And I realize you go to those a lot because things are always coming up. Always coming up.
And you are giving such great counsel here. This is incredible. It really is impressive, man.
Thank you.
John?
Yeah, I'm going to second that. I think, we've talked a lot about process. We've talked about, the creative struggle and what it means to, to persevere as you have. But yeah, I just want to praise Todd for hanging in there, because
Oh,
man,
well, thank you.
that makes you a hero to many, especially these two knuckleheads
Yeah.
who,
Yeah.
still have a lot of persevering to do for a lot of other things. And hopefully we just continue to, feed each other's sense of, you know, don't give up, keep at it. You got a lot
Absolutely.
of stuff to still do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You all see me put some of these links up here, but down below, I'll put myself in the big one here. So these links, these are all the things that we've been talking about with Todd. You got the link for the big Monster Palooza, all that stuff. Make sure you guys go support these things. These are a good time. And obviously, Todd, great person. I'm vouching 100% because his work is awesome. It's always been great to be his friend. I don't want to kick us off the stage here too fast, but I wanted to give you the chance to ask us any questions or cover anything else that you want to talk about. What's on your mind?
Oh man. I feel like just like for me, I think this is I've stepped into like a new era of my career and of my process, as if I've done a lot. I've done a lot of the work, I've paid a lot of my dues, and now it's time from here on out to see things fall into place and to really be able to go in deep to the kinds of movies that I want to do and not have to rely on, like, Santa with a bag of dicks and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited about this new year. I'm excited about my future.
Yeah.
And I hope that, anybody that's watching and they have the dreams, if it's about the craft, if it's about what, doing something that you just have inside you, then I, would just hope that people would go for it and make their dreams come true, but to make sure that it's something that's deep in your bones
Mm.
and not just about fame and not just about money, because that certainly wasn't the thing that kept me going all these years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it couldn't
Not
be.
anything. Yeah.
It
Right.
doesn't keep you going very long when it's, the thing is, when there's money and there's fame to be had, it's so far beyond where you should rationally give up on it.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing, is that you have to not be in it for that, because by the time you get to that, and you'll be like, well, of course, I knew this was going to happen because it was inevitable. I wasn't going to stop, but I should have stopped a long time ago if I was going to be bothered by that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Anything else in closing, fellas? Otherwise, we'll wrap this up. And again, Todd, thank you. It's always a joy to see you and
Yeah, it's
hang out
always
with you.
great to come back on. I know I've been
Yeah.
All right.
busy, but I definitely would love to come back when I can talk freely about some other things.
Yeah.
And it's
The
always, of
other
course,
things.
Oh, there's a cliffhanger for us.
yeah, you know me, I'm always building the suspense.
Yeah. Kill them early and close it on emotion. Right. Let me wrap this up and we'll say goodbye to you offline, everybody else. Well, I may do a show in a few minutes. We'll see how it goes. Otherwise, we'll see it at least tomorrow, if nothing, or on Monday, if nothing else. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks, Todd.
Yes,